What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the very first commander deck that I ever built, which is Oloro Ageless Ascetic. It is strictly a prison stax Lifegain commander. I believe he came out in like 2010 or so, give or take. Don't quote me on that. But he was my very first commander. I just liked the character design and what he did. I liked his colors. So let's go ahead and get into this deck tech. Let's hit that intro and get right into the video. Welcome back, everybody. Here is my Oloro Ageless Ascetic Commander deck. This is called Sanguine Ascension on Moxfield. I will be posting the link in the description for you to take a look at it at any time. But Oloro Ageless Ascetic is a 6-mana 4/5 legendary creature with the giant soldier tag. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card, and each opponent loses 1 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Oloro Ageless Ascetic is in the command zone, you gain 2 life. So that's just basically saying that he's got Eminence. Eminence is a broken ability in Commander that says you get a bonus thing just by having your commander in the command zone. He does not need to be on the battlefield to gain 2 life. He can gain 2 life in the command zone and on the battlefield. He's just always going to gain 2 life. And then his second ability is an activated ability. You get to pay 1, and if you do, you draw a card, and each opponent loses 1 life. Now, technically for Oloro, it's still considered a triggered ability because it is on your commander, and I think there's something more specific about it. But you're paying mana to activate it, so I still call it an activated ability. But you're going to get to pay that and draw a card, and your opponents are going to lose life. So it's just card draw on your commander. Very good. The only thing with Oloro is he costs a lot. He's very expensive to bring out. So you're going to want to put Swiftfoot Boots on him or Lightning Greaves or some sort of protection, maybe a Mithril Coat or something like that to go ahead and protect Oloro. Because if he gets removed once, you pretty much are locked out from casting him again the entire game, unless you have a lot of mana. But chances are, this is an Esper deck. You're not really ramping all that well. I love this card. I had it for about a year. And then when the Secret Layer Oloro came out, I wanted to pick this up just because I like the art a bit better and the color scheme. So I'm running that now. This just sits in the binder. But I will probably keep this forever. I love the original print of Oloro. But again, I like the color scheme of this. So that's why I have both of them. I love both, don't get me wrong. But the new one is my favorite. Let's go ahead and talk about the deck a little bit. So like I said before, this is a deck all about life gain. Also prison, so it's going to have a lot of stacks pieces. Just a lot of cards that's going to force my opponent to stop interacting with me. So I have pieces in here like Ghostly Prison. I have Propaganda. I have Grand Abolisher and things like that. So I'm going to kind of go through this deck and just show you each card, and I'm going to go down the line. So I have a Swamp here. We're going to run basic swamps. We got a Plains. We got Exquisite Blood, which is a piece of a 2-card infinite combo. It says whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. So I'm going to force my opponent to lose life, and I'm going to gain that much life back. I have Elhammeret's Archive. This is a 5 colorless mana legendary artifact that says if you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. If you would draw a card except the first one you draw in each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. So each of my upkeeps, I'm going to be gaining 4 life with this card out onto the battlefield. And then it has card draw, so why would you not want it? Shipwreck Marsh, just a really good land. Debt to the Decklist. This is a recent ad. So again, this deck is prison-based. It has been kind of tinkered over the year. Because, like I said, I've been playing for like a year and a half. And this was the first deck that I ever built. It was a heavier creature deck at one point. I'm kind of slowly leaning it towards just pure enchantments. But I don't have the budget for it yet. I want to get the real cards and stuff like that. But Debt to the Decklist is one of the new cards that I put into the deck. And it's a sorcery. It costs X, white, white, black, black. And says each opponent loses 2 times X life. you gain life to the life lost this way. I actually won a game recently. I think it was like a month or two ago. I won a game because I drained my opponents for 17 life each, and I gained that life back and took them completely out of the game. So this is a really good card in this deck specifically. We got Watery Grave. I ended up getting this at a local game store in Charleston, South Carolina. I love this print. I think this is one of the best Watery Grave prints out there, and it's just really cool. I have an Offer You Can't Refuse. It's just a really good counterspell, like you guys know. We're running Sunken Hollow for now. We're running an Exotic Orchard for now. This is my favorite Exotic Orchard print. I love navy blue. This with the foil just looks really good. Fracture is a targeted removal. It destroys a target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. It's just really good in an Esper deck. Serra Ascendant is a really good 1-drop. It has lifelink and 1/1, and as long as you have 30 or more life, which you will consistently have with this deck, your Serra Ascendant will get +5/+5 and has flying. So it'll be a 6/6 flyer with flying and lifelink. You know, if this is in your opening hand, you tap the mana, you bring it out, and the next turn, if no one has a creature on board, you can just swing them over and gain 6 life. Hit them for 6. It's really good. It offers a lot of stability in the deck, and I really like that. Eventually, I think it is going to be taken out, just because, like I said before, I don't really want there to be a lot of creatures in this deck towards the end goal, but for now, it does the trick. We have here the Caves of Koilos. It's just a tap mana. Tap land, you tap it to add a colorless, and you can tap it and add a white or a black, but it's going to deal 1 damage to you. And then I have Karlov of the Ghost Council. This card is insane in this deck. Absolutely crazy. So it costs a white and a black, so 2 mana. And whenever you gain life, you put 2 1/1 counters on Karlov of the Ghost Council. And you can pay 2 to remove 6 +1/+1 counters from Karlov of the Ghost Council, and you can exile a target creature. So it has built-in targeted removal, completely removal from the game because it's exiling instead of destroying. It's really good. It's a 2-drop, which is another great thing. But in addition to that, whenever you gain life, so if you have this on the battlefield, every time you go to your upkeep, you're going to put 2 1/1 counters on Karlov of the Ghost Council. So within 3 turns, you're going to have 6/6 counters on Karlov of the Ghost Council. It is quite insane. One of my favorite Esper removal spells is Damn. I just really love this print. I think it's really awesome. I overload it, obviously, for 2 colorless and 2 whites, and I destroy all target creatures, and they can't be regenerated, so it's basically an exile spell. Pretty good. Next, we have a Marauding Blight Priest. This is a creature that is part of an infinite life combo loop. So it costs 3, and whenever you gain life, each opponent loses a life. Very, very simple, but very doubly. Then we have an Esper Sentinel. Everyone knows about this card. It's just really good card draw. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell every turn, you get to draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. Chances are that's going to be 1, but again, it's like a heuristic study. Most people aren't going to want to pay their taxes. And, you know, every now and then someone will, but it's still a good card draw engine, especially for 1 mana. And then we have Propaganda. This, again, like I said before, because I did mention this in the beginning of the video, this and Ghostly Prison both make it to where creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 mana for each creature they control that's attacking. It's a great piece to just protect your board state, to protect your life total, and it basically forces opponents to interact with each other instead of interacting with you. And then we have Heuristic Study. Like I just previously mentioned, this is a great card draw engine. And whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1. So again, it's just constant consistency with card draw. You win games because you're drawing cards. I mean, that's the goal. We have Dimir Signet. It's pretty simple. It's just a mana rock. And then Ajani's Pridemate. So whenever you gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. You're gaining life every upkeep. You're going to be putting a ton of +1/+1 counters on Ajani. This is a great card. The print is from Foundations. I just love this. I love that card. It's awesome. We have a basic island because, you know, we need that. And then we have Ghostly Prison, which is just the other half of the Propaganda Ghostly Prison. Like protection, if you would call it that, stacks pieces. So, you know, this is going to do the same thing Propaganda does. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. So if you have this out and Propaganda, they're going to have to pay 4 for each creature that they want to swing at you, which protects you. It's insane. I've had it win me games. Tainted Field, it's just a basic land that's in here for now. And then I have the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Command Tower there. So let's go ahead and continue on with this. Narset Parter of Veils is the next card. This is a Planeswalker. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. This just basically shuts off card draw engines like Consecrated Sphinx, Rhystic Study, Mystic Arbora, things like that. So you're going to be drawing a lot of cards, and your opponents are going to be drawing pretty much none, or technically 1 with their draw step, but they can't draw any more other cards. So it significantly reduces what they're able to do each turn. It's really good. It's one of the best Planeswalkers in the entire game, in my opinion. We have a Talisman of Dominance. You need your mana ramp, your mana rocks. It's amazing. Smothering Tide. This is another crazy card. I have a proxy for it because I am not spending the amount of money on a real one right now. But whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2, and if they don't, you get to create a treasure token, and basically you can crack treasure tokens for mana. So it's basically a Rhystic Study, but for mana, essentially. You're not drawing cards, instead you're going to be creating mana, which helps you, you know, spend spells and cast spells and things like that. Busted, especially in CEDH. Commander Spheres in this deck. I just really like the print for now. It's going to stay in. It will eventually leave the deck because it's not that great in hindsight, but I do like it for what the deck is right now. So it's in there as just a mana rock. And it has card draw built in. So that's always nice. Then we have Castle Locthwain. It is a land that taps for a swamp. So it's obviously going to be great. And then you can pay 3 and tap it to draw a card, and then you lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. I mean, you don't really worry about that. It's just extra card draw, and it taps for your swamp, so can't complain there. We have Swiftfoot Boots for protection, and then we have Rock's Faithmender in this deck. It is a creature with lifelink, and if you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. So again, it's just boosting my life total, so every upkeep, instead of 2, it doubles. And then, as you can see, I have a lot of cards in this deck that do that same thing. So it's going to double, and then double from that, and then double again on another card that I supposedly draw and play. We have another basic swamp. We have a Path of Ancestry. Just a pretty decent land for casual, not CEDH, but just casual Commander. It enters tapped, so it's a tap land. That stinks, but for what this deck is trying to do right now, it's pretty good. And you get to tap and add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. So, again, if you don't know what Path of Ancestry does, it's pretty popular. I'm surprised if you guys don't really know what it does, but it's pretty decent. Felidar Sovereign is in this deck for now. It's got Vigilance and Lifelink, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. I consistently have more than 40 or more life in this deck. Pardon my grammar. Most of the time, I have about 60 to 80 life. There's been games when I've had 700 life. So this is a great card to play if you're well above 40, because the second you're going to play this card, people are going to A, counterspell it, or try to get your life total below 40. So, I mean, if you're going to play this card, just make sure that your life total is well above 40, so no matter what they can do before your next upkeep, you're good to resolve Felidar Sovereign and win the game. As you can see, it's in this deck because it's crazy. It's won me many games. It's really awesome. It costs 6, but I think it's well worth the price tag. Next is the other half of the life gain, life drain, infinite combo. It's called Sanguine Bond. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. In this deck, this is more crazy, in my opinion, than Exquisite Blood. Normally, it's the other way around. But in this deck, because you're gaining 2 life every upkeep just off of Oloro's ability, you're going to constantly drain your opponents because you're gaining that consistent life. So I feel like this is the better card in this deck. But again, if you have this on the battlefield and Exquisite Blood, you're going to be doing the infinite loop and draining your opponent's life down anyway. So you just got to make sure to have a sack outlet or deal some sort of damage to trigger the life drain. But that's normally never an issue. Then we have Crested Sunmare. This is just a really good card. Other horses you control have indestructible. And at the beginning of each end step, if you gained a life this turn, or gaining life every turn, create a 5/5 white indestructible horse token. The horse tokens have indestructible because here it says other horses you control have indestructible. It is a 5/5, so after every end step that this is out, you're going to be gaining a 5/5 indestructible horse. That is insane. This is a very good late to mid game piece. It's won me games. We have the Ajani Strength of the Pride Planeswalker in here. Just allows you to gain life equal to the number of creatures you control, plus the number of planeswalkers you control with its +1 ability. Its -2 allows you to create tokens. Named Ajani's Pridemate with whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Ajani Pridemate. So if you have this out and Ajani's Pridemate out, you're going to be gaining a ton of life, and you're also going to be gaining a ton of +1/+1 counters. Just insane combo. It's really good, especially with Oloro. Next, Angel of Vitality. It's got flying, and if you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. So it's just adding the amount of life you're getting per turn. Insane. And Angel of Vitality gets +2/+2 as long as you have 25 or more life. So it's pretty much always going to get that +2/+2. So insane. Concealed Courtyard. Drannith Magistrate's in there for basically to stop your opponents. It's a stax piece. It's got to be in there for now. And I think it's in my final deck tech as well. If you go to my Mox field, that's going to be like my final deck of what I pretty much want it to look like. But it's still very, very good. This is a proxy, though, so keep that in mind. Bajuka Bog, just a really good land. It exiles a target opponent's graveyard on, as it comes in, and it's going to tap for black, so pretty good. Estrid's Invocation. This is a good stacks piece. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of an enchantment you control, except it has at the beginning of your upkeep. You may exile this enchantment. If you do, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So I like to use this for cards like Ghostly Prison. It's just going to add double to what you're trying to do. It's going to help with like cards like Rule of Law or Sphere of Safety, things like that. So I try to always copy that. You can also copy like Necropotence or something like that. You could do a lot of really cool stuff with that card. It's really busted. Isolated Chapel's in here just for the time being. Brainstorm is just a really good card draw spell. Authority of the Consuls is going to have all opponent creatures enter tapped. So again, it's stacks prison. You're basically influencing what your opponents can do up against you. And then whenever a creature an opponent controls enters, you gain a life. So it's doing two things that you want it to do. It's gaining your life and it's tapping your opponent's creatures. Insane. We got a Plains. Test of Endurance is a win con. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 50 or more life, you win the game. I mean, pretty simple. Grand Arbiter, Augustine. White spells you cast cost 1 less. Blue spells you cast cost 1 less. And spells your opponents cast cost 1 more. So it's making spells more expensive for your opponents and cheaper for you. Busted card. I've won games because of this card. I've also gained a lot of hate from people that I've played with. Because I've played this card, it's deadly. Just be careful. I would definitely talk with your pod and just let them know that you're running cards like these in your deck because a lot of them will drive your opponents insane. We're running Void Rend. This is a targeted removal. Spell can't be countered. Destroy target non-land permanent for 3 mana. It's just really good in an Esper deck. Kaya's Wrath is a board wipe, essentially. Destroy all creatures, but then you gain life equal to the number of creatures you controlled that were destroyed. So you're destroying and removing all creatures from the board, but you're getting life for the amount of creatures that you control that you're destroying on your side of the board. Very good. Darkwater Catacombs and Orzhov Signet. We're almost there. We're like less than halfway. I'm running Beacon of Immortality. This doubles the target player's life total. Shuffle Beacon of Immortality into its owner's library. So chances are I'm going to be playing this when I have no other cards in hand and I'm at a high life total. So let's say I'm at 60 life and I smack this down. I have 120 life, and then Beacon of Immortality is going to be shuffled back into my library so I can do it again at a later date. It's busted in this deck. It is insane. High mana value, but it's warranted. Trust me. Again, I've won games where I've had that more than 700 life because of cards like this. I don't know how this isn't banned, specifically for decks like this, but it's awesome. Highly recommend it. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, just a staple land. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land types. Now, one thing I didn't know when I first started is this affects opponents too, so if you play Urborg, your opponents are also going to get access to swamps as well, so just keep that in mind. But I recommend putting this in all your decks. All your black decks, specifically. Mindstone, just there for, it's a mana rock and card draw. Simple. Exsanguinate, drains everybody, and then you gain life for the amount of life that you drained. Arcane Sanctum is a really good Esper land. Temple of Silence is just in here just because. Tainted Isle is in here just because. A lot of these lands are just in here because I don't have any other lands. My land base in this deck isn't the best, but I do have some good stuff like Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. It's a legendary land. This is a proxy though, keep that in mind. But you tap it to add a colorless mana, and then you can pay 2 into it and tap it and choose a color and add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. So it's just very good. Got your basic Arcane Signet. Can't go wrong with Arcane, I'm telling you. Next is Shieldred the Apocalypse. This is a well-hated card. But for 4 mana, it's got Death Touch. And whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. So you're going to be drawing a card every turn. I have some artifacts in here that allow me to draw extra cards. So then I'm going to gain another 2. And then all my life is going to be doubled because of like Rock's Faith Mender and other cards like that. So again, this is just, it's increasing my life total. It's also hurting my opponents with its second sentence, which is whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So you're gaining life and drawing cards. Your opponents are losing life whenever they draw a card. And it has Death Touch, so it can block and just completely wipe someone out. It's pretty incredible. If you don't know what this card is, it's busted in black decks. We got a Mana Confluence for a land, for just a very good land. This is a proxy, but I do have the Borderless in my Edgar Markov deck, so you'll see that eventually. We got Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. It's just a life gain piece. Highly recommend. Quasar, Augur of Agonies. I just really like this card, and I thought it fit well. This is one of the ones I was always debating on cutting, but I just like the card. I like the design. It always resonated with me, so I kept it in. It's a 3/4 for 5, or for 4, excuse me. And whenever you draw a card, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. So you're just, every time you're drawing a card on your turn, you get to choose an opponent to lose a life, and you're going to gain a life for it. So just very good. It's a 3/4 body for 4. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, I have cards that do more in here. I think that's what it really boils down to. Next is Takanuma Abandoned Mire. This is a staple black land for like mono black decks and decks that run black. Just very good. Approach of the Second Sun is a win con in this deck. If this spell was cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun, this game, you win the game. So essentially, you're going to play this and then shuffle it back into your library, and then you're going to draw it again and play it, and then you win the game. It is pretty good. It costs a lot of mana, but I've pulled it off and I've won because of this card, so it's pretty decent. It might be a cut on my updated deck list. I'm not entirely sure. You'll have to go ahead and check the Mox field for that. But either way, it's still a very good card. Highly recommend. This is a staple in all Lifegain white Esper decks. It's Soul Warden. For 1 mana, whenever another creature enters, you gain a life. I mean, it's Magic. There's going to be creatures coming in left and right, and you're going to gain life because of that. I mean, it's simple. Soul's Attendant is the same thing. For one white mana, excuse me, it's a creature, human cleric, 1/1, and says whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may gain 1 life. You're always going to be gaining life. I don't know why it says may, but, you know. Haha. Shattered Sanctum is a very good land. Simple. Hall of Heliod's Generosity, again, is a very good legendary land that allows you to tap for a colorless, and then you can pay 2 and tap it to put target enchantment card from your graveyard on top of your library. This card is staying in the deck. You know, now, 10 years from now, this card is a staple, period. I mean, it's an enchantment-based deck to begin with. Not this iteration, essentially, but my final iteration is an enchantment-based deck, so this is going to be doing some good work for me. Now, here's one of my favorite cards in the deck. It is Revival and Revenge. As you can see, I never play this side. This side is not good at all, but Revenge is what I play all the time. And for essentially 6 mana, you get to double your life total, and target opponent loses half their life rounded up. So not only are you gaining half, or not only are you doubling your life total, but you're also having an opponent lose half their life. Insane card in this deck. It's basically Beacon of Immortality, but with 2 upsides to it. It's insane. Angel of Destiny, flying double strike. Angel with for 2/6. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. And then at the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life, more than your starting life total, you will in this deck, I promise. Each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. So you're gonna swing, and if you hit that player, they're gonna lose the game because you're gonna have more of the life total than what this card requires. Insane card. Next is Doom Foretold. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacks a non-land, non-token permanent. If that player can't, they discard a card, lose 2 life. I draw a card, and I gain 2 life, and create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. Then you sacrifice this. Yeah, that's pretty simple. You're just hurting your opponent, and then you're gaining from it. This is a pretty classic card in Lifegain decks. It's Kambal, Console of Allocation. For 3 mana, it's a 2/3, and whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So every time your opponent wants to counter your spells, or counter someone else's spells, you're going to be gaining 2 life. They're going to be losing 2 life because of that. It's great against Izzet decks. I've won against many Niv-Mizzet Perun decks and Niv-Mizzet Visionary decks with that card. We got your basic counter spell. I just really liked this print, so I put it in the deck. Pretty simple. It's a counter spell. It's your classic counter spell. Then we have Plains. We have an island. We're down to my last handful of cards here. We have Exercise. This is a 2 mana sorcery that says exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. This is just a great way to exile artifacts and enchantments, which that alone is pretty hard to do in some decks. So just, it's artifact and enchantment hate, essentially, and can also, you know, if you choose to, you can take out a creature with power 4 or greater. So it's really good for 2 mana. One of the best board wipes in Lifegain decks, in my opinion, is Fumigate. You destroy all creatures, and then you gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. So I know Kaya's Wrath, one of the other board wipes, allowed you to gain life per your creatures that leave the battlefield. This is everybody's creatures. So you're going to be adding up all the creatures that are getting killed by Fumigate, and you're going to be getting a life for all of them. So if there's 30 creatures on the board, you're going to be gaining 30 life from playing this. So love it. Fifth, Fetid Pools, however you pronounce it. And it's just kind of in there, just to be in there. We got Swords to Plowshares. This is your basic exile targeted removal spell. You gotta have it in a white deck. Swamp. Grand Abolisher. This is a stax prison piece. For 2 mana during your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. So again, this is just making your opponents their lives hard, especially on your turn. They're not going to be able to interact to whatever you play on your turns. So just very good. If this thing resolves, you pretty much won the game. Talisman of Hierarchy, just really good mana rock. Enduring Tenacity. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck, actually. For 4 mana, it's a 4/3 that says whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So again, it's just part of the combo, the life gain, life loss combo. And then when Enduring Tenacity dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. Goodness, my grammar. This is very hard to remove because, you know, whether it's a creature or an enchantment, it's going to come back as the opposite. Very, very good. If it's an enchantment, it's an enchantment. It's going to be hard to remove to begin with. But if it's a creature and dies, it's going to come back as an enchantment. So it's just going to be harder to kill. So, I mean, come on. Busted card. Busted card. Drog Skull Reaver's in the deck. It's got Flying, Double Strike, Lifelink. Whenever you gain a life, you draw a card. We're gaining a life every upkeep. We're drawing a card every turn. And it's whenever you gain life, by the way. So if we gain life during our upkeep, we're going to draw. If we gain a life somehow on our end step or on our main phase, we're going to draw a card because of that too. So it's whenever you gain life, you get to draw one. Well of Lost Dreams is a incredible artifact that's in the deck right now. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life you gained. If you do, draw X cards. So every upkeep, I gain 2 life. Yeah, it gets doubled. That gets doubled. Let's say I get 20 life a turn. I may pay X, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life you gain. So I could pay 20 and draw 20 cards because I gained 20 life. Crazy. Really good for card draw. We got Soul Ring. Soul Ring's got to be in every commander deck. Dovin's Veto is just a really good counter spell for Esper players. Deserted Beach is a land. Just kind of in here. Path to Exile is another really good targeted removal spell. This and Swords to Plowshares are always your go-to for white targeted removal. It's just you're exiling a target creature. You're just removing it completely from the game. If this doesn't get counterspelled, your card is gone completely. We got Swan Song as a really good counterspell. And that's a proxy, by the way. And then we have an island. So, as you guys can see, this deck is quite insane. I don't know what else to tell you. This is my deck tech for Sanguine Ascension. Again, I'm going to put the Mox Field in the description down below for you to take a look at. But feel free to leave any comments in the comment section. I love to answer questions and talk with you guys on your deck techs and things like that. If you like this deck, please smash the like button, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.